We got one. Yep, 6:29.
We don't have to. That's what that's fine. I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay. All right. You got this? It's 6:30. I hereby call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Announcements, awards, special recognition. I see none on the agenda. Public comment.
Yes, Madam Mayor, we currently have 16 individuals sign up to speak. The first person is Mr. Blake Hayes.
I'd like to get, counsel, do you want to make a motion to hear 3 minutes from each?
Yeah.
So moved.
Okay. Second.
I have a motion. I have a motion and a second to allow each individual speaker the full 3 minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. First speaker.
Blake Hayes.
Thank you, Council. Blake Hayes, Double Trace Lane. I'm here to speak tonight on the micromobility resolution that you're considering today. I think we're all here, we all care about safety on the paths. That's something that, I've spoken on multiple times in front of this group. I also am on an advisory group for the city. We've gone through things of that nature. With that said, I do have a couple of concerns about the bill that has been proposed. I do recognize that this is just the resolution, it's just the start. It's not, you are not enacting it for the state here tonight. But a couple of things that I wanted to bring up, one of which is I know there's a change to the width of golf carts that's proposed in the bill. This is something that we talked about in our advisory group. However, due to the specific language on it, there's still a catch-all for carts that were authorized by a local authority prior to January 1st, 2012. So it would have no effect here in Peachtree City, even if the language as it is right now passed, because we authorized them before 2012. It would be new locations that would be restricted to 48 inches in width. I know there was some about path speed limit being saying that the city doesn't have authority to establish speed limits on the paths. You do. It's just you're limited to the 25 miles an hour like you are on any other road. So certainly, if that's a point of concern, you want to lower it to 20, that's something to push for. But to say that you need this to have authority to set speed limits in the first place is in my opinion, inaccurate, and I would suggest you at least ask your city attorney about that, on his opinion on it. Another thing that was kind of talked about is if we're going in here and we're talking about all of these traffic rules because we care about safety, we care about people being, responsible on the paths, we don't talk about insurance for carts in this bill at all. And insurance, there is a separate title of the code specifically on insurance, but it's also in Title 40 as well, the requirement that, if you have a motor vehicle, you have to have insurance. My personal opinion, I think carts are already required under state law to have insurance. I know the city holds otherwise in their stuff, but if that is the city's position that they don't think carts require insurance under current law, then why aren't we pushing for that? I mean, liability insurance isn't that expensive, and that would definitely solve the problem of, somebody acting recklessly if, they get a ticket for no insurance. And the last thing I kind of want to bring up, again, cycling back to all of the issues that are in the bill, is the legislative language is one thing. That's great, but it really comes down to enforcement. There's a lot that it doesn't matter what you resolve here at the city level to push up to the state and change if you don't enforce it. And there's a lot that, as of today, you already have the power to do. You don't need to change state law on. You just need to enforce it, which I totally understand is a question of resources and priorities. How much is it worth to stop 1 or 2 golf carts as opposed to someone going 80 miles an hour down the state route? I get it. It's all trade-offs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next
Your
speaker.
time has expired.
Next person signed up to speak is Jim Forrestal.
Good evening. Jim Forstall. I live in Spooner Ridge, been here since 1992, and I've been walking the cart paths ever since I got here. And I can tell you that over the years, the cart paths have gotten more and more dangerous. And so anything that we can do to increase the safety of the cart paths, I strongly encourage. I don't know what everything the gentleman spoke before me is true, but I can tell you that cart paths are dangerous and we need to increase the safety. I used to walk with traffic. I haven't done that for years. If you're not walking towards traffic, you're taking your life in your hands, and we're getting more and more vehicles out there. I had a golf cart path go flying by me the other night. So we need to have better safety on these cart paths and a better police presence. Thank you, and happy holidays.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Bill Mackey.
Good evening. I'm Bill Mackey. I live in the Braylon area of Peachtree City. As a resident and an owner of the Pettigo Peachtree City e-bike store, I have major concerns for my safety as well as the safety of my family and children, families of the community due to the lack of regulation regarding e-mobility devices. Our store only sells e-bikes that meet the safety requirements currently stated in the shared path rules. E-bikes that have a limit of 20 miles per hour with electric pedal assist or throttle use and a maximum of a 750 watt electric motor. While on the path system or looking out into the parking lot of my store, I see mostly young adolescents riding high-powered vehicles with large electric motors greater than 750 watts. Some of these vehicles can travel up to 60 miles per hour. I saw on YouTube this afternoon a scooter that was going over 80 miles an hour. This is so dangerous for children whose brain is not fully developed, so they have not developed the ability to perceive distances accurately. They also don't have the thinking power. Combine these bikes with golf carts and other vehicles that are going 25 to 30 miles an hour, and you can imagine the harm caused when this combination meets each other. We must be able to regulate the significant safety risk for our community and visitors who also use paths for walking, running, and leisurely bike riding. These e-bikes that are such a danger are largely purchased online. Buyers receive no instruction on their use or safety precautions as they would get if they purchased them from a local bike store. When given the opportunity, we attempt to educate parents of children about safety risks, but there are not nearly enough opportunities to do that. My wife and I purchased the bike store to support and encourage the use of our community's paths. We are all blessed to have this amenity. We do not want to see our business and our customers hurt by people who unsafely use e-mobility cycles. We routinely encounter customers who are fearful of riding their bikes on the paths due to high-speed e-mobility devices and golf carts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, actually, he does have another minute. We seem to be having some malfunction.
All right,
So
please
he does.
continue.
I'm typing.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. I gotta find my
Find
place.
your spot.
I know we could sell more e-bikes if people are on our paths would abide by maximum speed limit of 20 miles an hour, simply because our customers would feel then safer, as well as walkers and other folks. Our city needs enforceable laws that protect us while taking advantage of our shared path system. We must be able to manage the speed on these paths, just as our police department is doing to protect our school zones and roads in our town. If these high-powered vehicles continue to be run unmanaged, it is inevitable that people will get hurt or worse. City Council, we must act now. We can't wait to enact protections for our community. Quite literally, the lives of those in our community depend on it. And I thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
The next person signed up to speak is Claudia Eisenberg.
Claudia Eisenberg, and I live at 203 Riviera Court off Braylon Road. I use the paths every day. I'm a walker. It is quite frightening. The carts go very fast. The e-bikes, I don't know what they are, mopeds, but it is, on my end, I'd love for you to come down and walk with me. Doing nothing is a decision that can have serious consequences. So I hope tonight that we can pass this resolution and we can get it going. With Fayette Forward, I had a conversation with Eric Dial. I know that Fayette Forward is looking to connect Peachtree City with Fayetteville and Tyrone Cart Pass. So I think there's even a greater need to address safety now rather than later.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Lisa Mackey.
Hello, my name is Lisa Mackey. I live at 202 Chardonnay Courts. I'm the other owner of Pedigo Peachtree City e-bikes. I ask that each of our city council members and Mayor Leonard consider providing advocacy on the following issues on behalf of our city residents to the state of Georgia to help preserve the safety of our community path system. Please ask the state to be proactive by updating specific Georgia codes to enable better city management of these issues. Georgia Code 40, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, has not kept pace with new consumer and commercial electric devices and vehicles. While local bike shops and retailers comply with Georgia Code regarding sales of electric assisted bicycles, Georgia residents import and operate unrestricted high-speed electric dirt bikes, e-motor, and other electric assisted vehicles which are not registered or regulated, instead of purchasing a legal vehicle locally. Please ask the state to utilize small businesses to inspect and register e-motor vehicles so an inspection of the speed and safety is ensured. This would provide both the opportunity to weed out dangerous e-mobility devices that can be set to allow high speeds, as well as provide education to the owners of e-mobility devices. Advocate for the update of Georgia Code 40-1-1 to identify, define, and manage all micro-mobility vehicles. Advocate for the update of Georgia Code 40-6-290 to increase and ensure safety education is provided to all residents utilizing micro-mobility vehicles. Advocate for the update of Georgia Code 40-6-330 to provide appropriate standards for operating personal transportation vehicles to include pedal-assisted electric vehicles. Request state legislators update Georgia Code 40-6-183 that currently restricts local jurisdictions from establishing speed limits on shared use paths and from setting urban or residential street speed limits lower than 25 miles per hour. Advocate for the update of Georgia Code 40-6-371 to enable the ability of local authorities to establish limits on shared use paths and to regulate undefined micromobility devices. I'm happy to provide a copy of these specific requests to City Council and to the Mayor. I appreciate your willingness to listen, and I implore you to communicate with State of Georgia legislators about these necessary code updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Carrie Cook.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Kerry Cook, and I live at 152 Lakeside Drive. I'd like to express my support for the resolution to establish rules and regulations for micromobility transportation. I believe that regulations are seriously needed in our city. I believe that it is only reasonable to have, for example, limitations on the speed of electric vehicles, signal turning requirements, and riders being required to wear a helmet. My wife and I walk the cart paths frequently and are faced with dealing with golf carts as well as electric scooters and e-bikes that many times go too fast and drivers who do not give warnings when approaching from the rear. This is a serious issue. I urge you to adopt the proposed micromobility transportation resolution. As an additional concern, I think that the city should require golf cart owners and now electric vehicle riders to view a video showing certain safety items that they should be aware of prior to the city issuing their vehicle permit. One portion of the video would demonstrate different ways to notify walkers or cart users in front of golf carts or electric vehicles by using a simple sound device like a bell or low tone horn to alert those in front of them when they are approaching from behind. This is a serious problem, and it happens all the time with people, especially with electric carts that come up from behind, and all of a sudden they're right there at your side. It's really a dangerous situation. Also, I might note that I've seen here recently, and I've heard about more golf cart accidents. I saw one the other day near the Baptist church where a golf cart was hit, and it was just really bashed in and beat up. Hopefully there was no serious injury there. An additional issue I'd like to address is consideration of extending the cart path system from Peachtree City to Fayetteville, Tyrone, or other locations like Trilith. I must say that I do not support the idea of the expansion and spending funds to extend the cart paths. I don't mean to be anti-cart paths, but we in Peachtree City already take care of 100+ miles of cart path asphalt. More golf carts on the paths results in more maintenance expense as well as challenges for safety of those who walk or drive golf carts and electric vehicles. The cart paths require a lot of funding to maintain the existing paths, and if there are extensions and connections with other cities, then more people and more vehicles will be putting additional wear and tear on the system. I don't think citizens want to pay more in taxes to allocate funds for capital improvements and to cover maintenance expense as well as policing of the activity on these additional miles of cart paths. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Keith Larson.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council, City staff, and city residents. My name is Keith Larson. I live in Sandown Creek neighborhood. I'm the president of the Southside Cycle Club, one of the largest recreation cycling clubs in the state, and also the Bike Walk Fayette Community Advocate. I've been advocating for safety on the paths for over 10 years. Tonight, I ask you to pass a resolution of support to the proposed Micromobility Traffic Safety Act that I have drafted, being submitted to the 2026 Georgia legislature for passage. This is a comprehensive enabling legislation to modernize the Georgia Code. It will direct state governments and agencies for traffic safety education and empower local governments across the state to improve traffic safety on roads, highways, local streets, shared use paths, and trails. Historically, the Georgia Code has only changed in response to industry asking for favorable conditions to be applied, permitting their vehicles to operate unilaterally across the state. This has included in recent years the updated motorized cart, known now as personal transport vehicles, low-speed vehicles, Segway two-wheel electric vehicles, electric-assisted bicycles, and recently personal delivery devices, aka robots. However, there are many personal electric vehicles now available by online purchase and present in our community that are not defined and without traffic law or safety equipment requirements, including the hoverboard, one-wheels, electric scooters, and unicycles. Further, a new class of pedal-assisted electric cars or vehicles, similar in size and speed, some of them faster than motorized carts, all without national product safety standards or Georgia definitions. We should not wait on a U.S.-based national coalition of manufacturers to propose standards that won't ever happen, as most of these producers are in China and don't care about you or your safety. We need action now because the new vehicles are present now in our community and are disrupting public safety. This bill will modernize the code to fill the gaps, identify and define the numerous devices and vehicles people are using today, and assign them an existing category of traffic law and safety equipment required. This bill will support our Georgia-based businesses such as Pedigo and Atlanta Trek right here in our city by clarifying what micromobility devices are permitted in the state so they can then offer new products and services to our local customers over the online sales of not permissive vehicles. This vehicle will add descriptions for mobility devices for those with disabilities that are not present in the Georgia Code. Would you believe wheelchairs are not defined in the wheelchair, in the Georgia Code?
Mr. Larson, direct your comments to
Yes.
the mayor. Thank you.
Yes. So, if this bill is passed, for the first time, you, Peachtree City Council, will be able to establish a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit on local paths. Sorry, Blake, that's what the limit is on the law. We cannot do that. You cannot do that right now. You have to have enabling legislation from the Georgia state to add a speed limit so our police can go to work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
Diane Collin.
Hello and thank you. My name is Diana Callan. I live in the Colonnade subdivision. I've lived in Peachtree City for over 35 years. 2 points I'd like to address. One is the Kelly Drive gate at the Plantera subdivision, and the other is the safety of our golf cart paths. So my granddaughter takes tennis lessons at the tennis center in Plantera, And on Saturday morning, I was taking her to a tennis match and was denied access because of the gate on Kelly Drive. Now, I was under the assumption that it was only closed during the business hours, or actually the rush hour traffic. So I feel that if Planterra has a gate, they should be considered a gated community. And a gated community is responsible for the roads, just like Whitewater Creek is. So I do understand the problems with the traffic, and I think the majority of the traffic was from Coweta County, with people going home after work. So my solution is, if Planterra wants to keep the gate and not declare they're a gated community, they should allow Peachtree residents to come in. So we need a solution. Is it a public road? Peachtree taxpayers pay for this road, and all Peachtree residents should be allowed to go through this gate at Kelly Drive. So a lot of Coweta County residents work in Peachtree City. Years ago, there was talk about opening TDK to allow a better flow of traffic in and out of Peachtree City, and for some reason that was denied. That would also be a solution to the traffic problem in Planterra. So my second point is the safety of our golf cart paths, especially with the popularity of electric bikes and high-speed golf carts. I think we need some guidelines on speed and what is allowed on the golf cart paths, especially for the safety of our pedestrians. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Bob Callen.
Hello, I'm Bob Callen. I live in the Colonnade subdivision. My wife just spoke. I'm going to speak on the same thing she did. First of all, I was surprised that the council could sell a portion of a city road, just a small little portion. That shocked me. When I heard them talking about it, I said, well, that'll never happen. Well, I was wrong. I don't think it was right. It was done. I don't know if you can undo it. I used that road 15 or 20 times before they put the gate up. There was never more than 1 or 2 cars in front of me, and the speed bumps kept the speed down. I never saw more than 3 cars at the light at 54 to make a turn. Now, I wasn't there all the time, but it just didn't seem like that much of traffic, because I was there, like I said, before the gate 15, 20 times taking my granddaughter to tennis. I do think, I agree with my wife, if they're going to block that entry, they should be responsible for all their roads. The city should no longer pay for maintenance of their roads, repaving, painting, anything. Again, the paths, I agree with everything everybody's saying. E-bikes are dangerous. There are little kids out there going on these things full throttle, on the cart paths, on the roads, everywhere. I think, just like a golf cart, I'm not sure of all the state laws that are applied here, but you should be able to put an age limit just like we have golf carts. An electric bike is no different than an electric golf cart. Same with electric scooter, which is almost more dangerous because you can't even see them coming at all. They're so small, and generally little kids riding it. So if you can't do the age limit, or I'd like to see an age limit where they can't drive it just like a golf cart, I think we should license them right away, just like we do a golf cart. The city should put and make it a substantial fee on it to keep, and I'm primarily concerned about the young kids because they're using them like dirt bikes. And as a mention to that, I've been over at the Stars Mill High School complex. There's kids over there riding dirt bikes. Very polite, nice, they stay out of everybody's way, but they're using both electric ones and gasoline ones on the cart path to get there and on the cart path to go home. Maybe have the police go over there and just sit there some night because they're always there, and like I said, they're zipping around the whole complex and doing it. I think a lot of this, these young kids on there, I fear that there's going to be an accident where a golf cart and an e-bike are going to hit, and it's just like a car and a bike. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Christine Lewis.
Hello, I'm Christine Lewis. I live at 130 Dean Drive, and I was just coming to say that we are very thankful that we have been allowed access through Crabapple Lane. Myself and everyone I know have tried to be very safe and respectful when traveling through Peachtree City. We've enjoyed spending time with our family and friends on the golf cart path, and have been very grateful to be able to support local businesses in Peachtree City while enjoying the amenities. And just wanted to remind everyone that we do pay $265 a year to access the paths, so it does go to help with the cost of maintenance on the paths. So it's not like we just use them for free. So we're very thankful and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker?
Danielle Canoan.
Hello, Council. My name is Danielle Canoan, and I live at 140 Wickham Drive. And I just want to express my sincere appreciation for your decision to reopen the golf cart access through Kedron Hills the last 11 months. This change has made a meaningful difference in my daily life as I commute to Kedron Elementary and teach first grade there. It also allows me to see my family who live in Lexington Park and my son to visit his grandparents. So that I ask that you continue to keep the access open, and thank you for your willingness to listen to the community and support practical solutions that truly improve the quality of life for many of us. Thank you again for your leadership and for helping make our town more accessible and connected.
Thank you. Next speaker?
Joan Brennan.
Good evening, Council. My name is Joan Brennan. I live in Kedron Hills. I'm here to ask the Council to close Crabapple Lane permanently. The previous City Council voted unanimously to close Crabapple Lane, and the road was closed in December of 2022. The closure was delayed 12 months to allow adequate time for Tyrone to install a cart path along Dogwood Trail. But the mayor of Tyrone never produced a plan for a path along Dogwood Trail. He spent millions for improvements to other parts of Tyrone. It's not that he doesn't have the money. It's that he chooses not to spend it on a cart path connecting Tyrone to Peachtree City. Access allegedly needed so desperately by his constituents. Tyrone has no intention of building a connecting path now or in the future, as evidenced by the fact that the developer is installing cart paths connecting the two new subdivisions directly to Crabapple Lane. Crabapple Lane was a closed issue until it was reopened by the current City Council. There are many reasons to close Crabapple Lane. The city ordinance and the comprehensive plan prohibit the use of neighborhood streets for cut-through traffic. The golf cart crossing at Dogwood and Far Road is dangerous. Increased golf carts through Kedron Hills will interfere with neighborhood traffic flow. The study recorded 193 golf carts per week through the Crabapple Gate. This number will increase when new subdivisions are built on the 80 acres of undeveloped land in Fayette County. Kedron Hills and Kedron Estates already have 250 households with golf carts. However, the most important reason to close Crabapple Lane is that routing traffic from outside the city through a neighborhood is wrong, irresponsible, and contrary to the fundamental principles on which Peachtree City is based. 250 households in Kedron Hills and Kedron Estates are opposed to keeping Crabapple Lane open. We are your constituents. The previous City Council was concerned for the rights and welfare of their constituents, and so they voted unanimously to close Crabapple Lane. I ask you respectfully to follow suit.
Thank you. Next speaker?
Paul Schultz.
Mayor, Council, Paul Schultz. I live in McIntosh Corner subdivision. Peachtree City government, we don't really want volunteers. I debated presenting this tonight because I do not like being critical in public, so I'm not mentioning names and being critical of the group. I also believe it is important to present publicly, though, because council is only accountable to the voters. For detailed background on this issue, please see council meeting minutes from September 18. In the agenda and packet tonight are proposed resolution and bill dealing with transportation that are very, very acceptable. That is not up for debate. But apparently they are so urgent that they cannot go through a review by the Transportation Advisory Group, which was created about a year ago by council to review proposals just like this. The message this sends is we get resident input only when it's convenient. Continuing, in September, as Transportation Advisory Group members were rolling off due to term expiration and we needed to find new members, we followed city ordinance and had an interview team comprised of 2 city council members and myself as the Transportation Advisory Group chair. Remember, I'm a volunteer. We followed specific criteria and selected those we thought best to represent a cross-section of Peachtree City residents. When it came time for council to approve, council members who did not participate in the interviews objected to the selection because we did not select the transportation expert. And I agree he is an expert. But rather than asking a question or questions in private, it was taken as an a priori fact in public that somehow the interview committee made a bad decision, which I assure we didn't do. I took PTO from my full-time work role to participate in the interview process, and the message I heard loud and clear was, your efforts didn't matter because we didn't like the outcome. Moreover, I think it was very fortunate none of the new tag appointees attended the council meeting where their appointments should have been made and announced with some fanfare and without a lot of drama. Consider this, you're just a volunteer trying to help out, and essentially you're told in public, in a public meeting, in a room in front of your peers, you're just not good enough. In addition, other potential volunteers have had their politics questioned. I know that free speech comes with consequences, but again, the message to anyone who wants to volunteer is, it's okay as long as you share my politics. The theme behind all of these issues is, if you really want to volunteer and support Peachtree City, don't bother, because you'll just be subjected to capricious and arbitrary decisions, or worse, partisan hackery. Just meaning Peachtree City officials don't want you, go volunteer somewhere else.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Rosemary Tennant.
I don't know if you can hear me. My name is Rosemary Tennant. I live in the Chestnut Fields division of Peachtree City. I am a meager, long-term citizen of Peachtree City. In 1985, we arrived. We dumped our belongings, went over to the golf course, joined the golf course, bought a golf cart, all within 4 hours of our arrival. City residents and visitors from all over the world have enjoyed and have had fond memories of their memories of the golf cart adventures. We are known as the golf cart paradise of Georgia. We must uphold this reputation as the premier city of golf carts in the entire Georgia Empire. Sadly, our golf cart paths have fallen into disrepair. Our once enjoyable cart paths are now plagued with alternative electronic vehicles and teenage hooligans who take delight in harassing our fellow residents. The security and safety factors are now a major concern. Forgive me, I had to take notes. It is my understanding that Marty, Josh, Karen, our state leaders are on board to enact a proposed official legislation to curb the persistent violations. Why can't we support or take an opportunity to support their efforts? please sign the resolution required to advance our project to the legislative body. Passage of this proposed legislation will enable our Peachtree City Police to monitor and enforce Georgia law. I strongly request we prioritize this issue to the top of your bucket list. We found funding to establish pickleball courts. I am confident we can find funding, if needed, to maintain this unique and important concept. Please restore our golf cart paths to the high standards of safety that we enjoyed during the early 19 or the late 19 and early 2000 years. Again, for the safety of our Peachtree City, please, please sign this critical resolution. Thank you.
Your time has expired. Thank you for your comment.
Next speaker.
Foja Eskew.
I'd like to stand over there. Thank you, Council and Madam Mayor, and I'm very excited to see all my neighbors here today to speak out on things that concern all of us. I just have 3 points to make with regards to the golf cart mobility issue, et cetera. I can say anecdotally that I asked an EMT member of our Peachtree City Fire Department how often they're called to an incident or injury involving a golf cart. This is anecdotal, it's not exact science, and I do believe in exact science or evidence-based science, 3 to 4 times a month, okay? 3 to 4 times a month. I think that it's shown that, or you can see every day at McIntosh High School, how many golf carts are not parked on the property of or the campus of the school, how many young adults are utilizing golf carts. I don't necessarily want to prohibit our youth from navigating our cart paths. I do feel that it's essential for us to help them all recognize that privilege and perhaps earn that privilege in some way to better account for safety in our community. Additionally, I want to say that the paths are one of our most incredible amenities in the bubble, and I think that having access to those paths ensure our property taxes in terms of property values. And so it's important for us to be clear and intentional about prevention on those paths in terms of injury. Lastly, I would say that if the best that we can do as a community is be focused on 25 miles per hour, which I don't necessarily, I'm not saying that that's it, I'm saying it's the awareness level, it seems, in terms of how golf carts are managed. I hate to use the word regulated because it just triggers people too much, I think. But 25 miles per hour, if that's what the public perceives is what we're really doing, I think we're opening ourselves up to an incredible loss of that great amenity if we become uninsurable in terms of golf cart ownership and liabilities. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The final speaker is Evan Hulfer.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Evan Holfer. I live at 130 Gray Court in Tyrone. I come here tonight with just a simple, short message. I don't have to stress out about the clock tonight. And that's a message just thank you. Thank you guys for having the courage and the leadership to open the Crabapple Lane golf cart path. So as referenced, the previous city council voted unanimously before you to close that. I believe that was done because they were bullied out of emotion and fear-mongering and rumor. You guys had the courage last December to vote unanimously to gather data and make an informed, facts-based decision. And those facts are in. 23 golf carts per day on average coming through that. Think about that, over a 12-hour day, that's 2 golf carts per hour. So you can pass through that gate Wait 30 minutes, another one comes through. Wait 30 more minutes, another one. To quote Councilman Holland, really a nothing burger. So I think, I asked Lily, my daughter here, who works at Kroger, I said, Lily, what are you seeing out there on the golf cart path? Dad, I don't see anybody. I hardly ever pass a golf cart. It is not an issue. So I thank you for allowing me to sleep better this last year when Lily was out there at night, in the cold, in the rain, stumbling for 5 minutes to open a lock and a heavy chain. The data is in. Greatly appreciate you guys following through with your due diligence, saying you're going to do what you're going to do. I applaud you. And coming here tonight, the last song I heard on the radio on the 70s channel was Why Can't We Be Friends? I looked to our neighbors in Kedron Hills, and I think that was a message. We have great people on our side of the line, your next door neighbors. Have a good holidays. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was it. Agenda changes, council?
No.
No. Minutes, October 16, 2025 City Council meeting minutes, November 6, 2025 City Council work session minutes. Can I get a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve both A and B of our council minutes and work session minutes.
I'll use second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consent agenda items A, B, C, D, E, and F. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll do that. Madam Mayor, may we approve, I motion to approve consent items A through F.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Old agenda item 122402, Crabapple Gate Counts, Justin Strickland.
Here we go. Thank you, Madam Mayor. All I have to present is the same thing I went over with you all 2 weeks ago at our work session. And you all wanted to get, wait and get public feedback on everything before you decided to take an action. So I have here, all I want to point out with these, this is all the data that was collected. It was collected by our police department over eight months, 32 weeks, 3 different locations, one at the Crabapple Gate up in Kedron Hills, one on Ashcott Drive, I think is what it is, but it is within Maple Shade on the other side of 74, and it's within a road in a neighborhood that Tyrone and Peachtree City connect. And the other was at the preserve on the south side of the city where the unincorporated county comes in through that neighborhood to get to the pass system. So it's comparable as you can get with the 3 locations here. And all I want to point out, I want to go through all the data, but it's just the average of those 8 months. Crabapple, 162 carts average per week. Ashcott, 273 carts average per week. And the preserve, 358 carts average per week. And so then we did down here just, I can't get down there. But we did an average percentage over Crabapple. So the 273 of Ashcott average is about 69% more volume than Crabapple, and the preserve is about 121% more volume than Crabapple. And then lastly, I had this that we showed at the last meeting as well, where green represents the preserve and all the numbers from every week and kind of a trend line with it. Ashcott is the orange for every week, and Crabapple is the blue for every week, just to kind of give a more visual representation of the volume of each over those weeks. And that is all I have, and you all discussed this at the last meeting, so if you have questions, we're here.
Council, the motion would be to approve opening the Crabapple Gate to golf carts indefinitely. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll go ahead and make the motion to open the golf cart path at Crabapple Gate indefinitely.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any last comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I have some, but
You have the floor, Mr. Cohen.
thank you. It was tough for me to vote for this. I think you all know that, because this is my neighborhood. But at the same time, I try to be a good citizen of Fayette County in addition to an honorable citizen here in Peachtree City. What disturbs me the most is Not only does the traffic come in front of my house, which I don't have a problem with because it's only 23 per day. What it really bothers me is how many unregistered carts from Tyrone come through. And all I can say is, hopefully the people who are here, who are from Tyrone, talk to your neighbors. Get it registered. Come on through. We'd like you to come on in and spend money in our city. Someday, I would like to get a proper path done up World Drive and connecting all the way up to Dogwood. That's my dream. Right now, there's no money for that in Tyrone or the county, or at least they claim that. Maybe it will come up during the SPLOST. But please get registered when you're coming into our city. All the carts need to be registered from Tyrone coming in, and welcome coming in. Get a welcome, a good welcome from me, because you got to go past my house. So thank you very much for doing that. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Brown?
If we leave the gate open now, we always have the right to readdress the issue if further housing gets built in the Fayette County area. We all are aware of which neighborhoods are being built out. We have no idea how quickly they will be built or how much that will impact the traffic. So rather than preemptively closing the gates again, I think we need to leave them open and continue maybe on a semi-annual basis maybe to monitor the numbers and just see what's going on. Monitoring the data over the last year has shown us exactly some eye-opening things, which is we have more people coming in on the south side than the north side.
Mm-hmm.
That shocked me, totally shocked me. And for that, and as well as other issues, I see no reason to close the gates at this point in time. So as long as we on the council are in agreement that we can bring it up at any point in time and readdress it if we need it.
Will we need a motion?
Thank you. Ms. Johnson?
I just want to say, first of all, I expressed this last meeting, but I'm very grateful for our police department who went through the efforts and other staff to take these numbers. I know it was a bit of a tedious process, so thank you very much, because this is very valuable information for us. I had one phone call from a Kedron resident as well as several emails. But in that conversation, I asked about the development that was happening in Tyrone that abuts the Kedron Hills neighborhood, and was informed that there really hasn't been any development that has taken place there since this study has happened and since we opened the gate. I went up there and took a visit to see for myself, and surely enough, there isn't a lot that has transpired as far as development during this time. So I am for keeping this gate open, and I agree with Councilwoman Brown that we need to be cognizant and aware of how that development will affect Kedron Hills in the future, and be willing to revisit this issue if needs be. And I'm grateful that this study has given us the baseline, so whatever changes in the future occur, we have that comparison that we can make.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. New agenda item. New agenda item 112503, fiscal year 26 budget amendment, Drake Pavilion permanent repair. Dave Borkowski.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Council. Dave Borkowski, City Engineer. Can you hear me okay?
Maybe you want to let them all go out. There'll be a lot of people leaving.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Okay. We're coming before council tonight to request permission to award a construction project for the Drake Field Pavilion repair and to approve a budget amendment to pay for such work. As you recall, the pavilion structure has a lot of wood rot in the beams, and we had worked with the structural engineer for several months to work on a temporary repair and a permanent repair. We've got all that done and prepared bid documents, and we sent that the permanent repair out to bid. We got some good response. We received 4 bids ranging from $84,900 to $270,000 for the repair. One of the things we've been doing, we enhanced our due diligence process in evaluating bids, and we chose to interview the two lowest bidders in this case, Willowdale and Solid Solution Services. We met with them specifically with focus on the scope of work and asking very specific questions and whether they understood what was in the bid and so forth. And after this process, we are recommending we hire Willowdale for this project. And while they're not the lowest bidder this time, we feel that they have a more complete understanding of the project and are really the lowest responsible bidder. For example, one of the things we talked about in our interviews was sanding all of the members down to bare wood, which is in the specifications, to properly seal the wood next time for better longevity. And Willowdale expressed they were going to do this, but the other bidder did not. They were not going to perform this work. So that's a change order there. Willowdale was also very upfront about repairing anything that gets damaged out there, bringing in these beams on trucks. They're going to come in on flatbeds and whatnot. And they said they would take care of anything that gets damaged. And the other contractor was talking about potential change orders for that. So those were some red flags there. In addition, the procedure for doing this, Willowdale has a much better procedure in my opinion. They're planning on supporting the entire roof structure, lifting it all up, and then sliding the new beams into place, while the other bidder was talking about localized shoring and actually cutting some of the timbers that were there and cutting some of the structural plates to slide it in easier. And this was going to cause issues with the process. In my opinion, we'd require them to have a certified welder to weld the plates back, and that was something that was not in their price either, the low bidder's price. So after all this, we're recommending to go with the next highest bidder, which is Willowdale, and their cost is $119,405. And as far as the budget impact goes, this was an emergency project. It was unbudgeted, so there is a budget amendment included in the packet as well for council's consideration as well. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
I want to make a comment. Drakefield Pavilion is something that we're all very proud of. It's become, quite a symbol of the lakefront, let's just say. And it's unfortunate that a prior council chose to take a low bid and then go even further, low bidder, and substitute wood that was inappropriate for an exterior application like this. So this is our second major repair on the pavilion. And I don't want that to happen again, so I want to make sure that we're definitely doing the thing the right way. It sounds like you've done, at least a good check into this. And I'm very happy about that. Not happy about spending the $119,000, but if this is hopefully what we have to do to fix this and maybe get a longevity factor out of it that we didn't get since it was built in 2018, then I think, the pavilion can continue to be a landmark in Peachtree City. So maybe not as unique as our Piano Key Dam, but a landmark nonetheless.
Ms. Johnson, any comments?
I just echo Councilwoman Brown, and thank you for giving us the details on that bidding process and that information. It's helpful, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Holland?
A couple questions. The unintended consequences. Now, you haven't really taken this thing apart to even look other than what somebody has visually seen for damages. This company sounds like they really want to work with us to maybe set up a long-term relation with us on other projects. Is there anything that they're not going to cover that is for this repair by this Willow Dell?
No, not that we have uncovered. They've pretty much dotted all the i's and crossed the t's, and our engineers have gotten up there with ladders and looked at everything, and it's all open, so shouldn't be anything hidden.
So we've minimized any kind of potential future consequences on this. Oh my gosh, we opened the can and all kinds of worms in there. So you're saying that that's typically not the case?
It should not be the case here,
Okay.
no.
That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
All right, I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve item 1224, wrong one, 112503, the 2026 budget amendment for Drake Pavilion permanent repair for $119,405.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
A new agenda item 112504, new alcohol license, The Cottages at Laurel Brook.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. This new alcohol license is for the Cottages at Laurel Brook, currently located at 400 Hayes Square in Peachtree City. The applicant has requested to serve as the licensee and the license rep and has met all requirements per the ordinance to be issued an alcohol license. And the applicant is also here. This is not a public hearing.
Not a public hearing. Does the applicant wish to make a comment? No, that's okay too. That's okay too. Council, can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve agenda item 11-25-04, new alcohol license for the Cottages at Laurel Brook.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. New agenda item 112505, alcohol ordinance amendment and fee schedule update. Jasmine?
Yes. Good evening again. During the last work session, if you all remember, we had a member of a business owner here who was opening up a new business in the city who came to speak about his business and how he currently could not operate in the way that he would like to as part of his business model because of our current alcohol license ordinance. That's included in this process, this update that we're recommending because council requested. And additionally, council received an email from the Avenues, who currently has a qualifying location permit, which allows people to walk around with open containers during special events. However, their request was to allow open containers year-round, not just during special events. And we talked about it at the last meeting, and from that, consensus was that council was interested in modernizing our ordinance to do such that, or to allow that. So that's exactly what this ordinance is. We are modernizing it to meet some of the allowances that are allowed by the state, but not currently allowed by the city. It would support some of the commercial centers as well as the local businesses who have asked. It just provides, again, clear year-round guidelines for controlled outdoor alcohol usage, which is like open container within a certain area. And again, this is something that we currently offer when you have a qualifying location permit similar to that of the Avenue. This is just to extend it year-round and add some other requirements in there and just maintain that strong public responsibility and additional safety measures that we don't currently have with the special event qualifying permit. So first I'll start with the requests from the business owner specifically when it comes to wine sales. Currently, our ordinance only allows for a business to decide whether they're going to get an alcohol license for retail consumption either on the premises, which means you're drinking like you do at a restaurant, or off-site premises, like if you're buying from a package store like Kroger's or Publix. You cannot do both. You cannot currently drink the alcohol at the restaurant and then purchase a bottle separately to take with you. We do not allow that. What you can do per our ordinance, which is a recent update a couple years ago, is if you open the bottle, you can ask the restaurant to recork it. However, the business model that was being requested, that's new to Peachtree City, is a wine bar that allows you to drink with some food, and if you choose to buy a bottle to enjoy later, you do not have to open it, and that was the request. And so essentially, that's what the proposed changes to the wine sales are. The second proposed change is more for a plaza or a shopping center. This would allow the shopping center to, instead of requesting a qualified location permit, which would allow them to only have open containers during special events, this would allow year-round open containers with certain requirements. And I do want to state that it does not allow every shopping center would not qualify for this, because you must have a minimum of 3 locations and businesses that sell alcohol. So that would be 3 restaurants that have alcohol. And you must have a pedestrian-friendly area suitable for gatherings or entertainment. So if it does not have that, it would not qualify. And that is an addition. Our current special events ordinance for the qualifying locations does not have that requirement. And even though if council was interested in establishing this ordinance, every applicant would still come back in front of council to be approved. So it does not automatically guarantee that every plaza or shopping center that applies would automatically get approved. They would still come back in front of the council. And the reason we have here the boundaries and operations approved by city manager as well, because before it comes to council, we want staff to have the opportunity to review the boundaries to ensure that we have an understanding of what's being requested. So regarding the operation and safety, here are some of the requirements that we're adding. We're not allowing any type of glass containers. We are requiring that the containers include either the establishment's logo and name or the district's logo and name. And we're doing that so that way we can determine, or the police can determine, where the alcohol was purchased if it does become a problem. So that way we can solve that issue. We're also talking about mandatory security, restrooms, lighting, waste control, and they would have to renew every year. It wouldn't just be a one-time forever. And the district itself, which would be the shopping center, would be responsible for the management of this and the compliance. Of course, the enforcement would be on the city. Something that we're adding that we currently do not have for the qualifying location permit is and signage that would notify the patrons if they are leaving the district. We do this similar to at our golf courses. There are some golf courses that have public and private paths kind of intersecting, and on the golf course they're allowed to have open container. But in order to ensure that the patrons know when they are leaving the area that is private, we have signs similar to this. It's not exactly this, but similar to this, that will notify them so they are aware when they are leaving the district. So this would also be enacted for the entertainment district if it is adopted. And then we are proposing a fee for only the entertainment district. There is currently a fee for the qualifying location permit. The fee is a lot cheaper. However, with the new requirements, such as the detailed boundary for the district, a layout of the walkable pedestrian zones and the access points, and all of these other things that we're asking for, we do understand that this will be a slight burden on staff time. And so we are asking for an increase to this type of permit to $500. The entertainment district or the shopping centers would no longer need to apply for the qualifying location permit. This would be a separate permit. It would be an entertainment permit. However, the qualifying location permit will still exist because we do have other locations like the CAF or other businesses in the city that do use the qualifying location permit for special events. This would take the shopping centers out of that requirement to have to apply. And then for the other request of the change, which is the off-premise wine sales, there's no recommended fees. And we will just review to see if there is a need or a necessity to have a fee in the future after 1 year if we determine that it is a burden on staff time. Question?
Okay, I actually see Kelly Lawrence here from the Avenue. If you don't mind, can we get some comments, please? Of course. We all met Kelly at the opening of Trader Joe's.
Thank you.
And could you start with your title, please?
Yeah, so my name is Kelly Lawrence. I'm the marketing manager for the Avenue. And this is Vega. She is my dog and my office buddy most days. So, you know, just first off, and I know I met with the mayor not too long ago as well. And one of the things that I heard when I first started at the Avenue was that people see us as the downtown of Peachtree City. I continued to hear that like throughout the year that I've been here, and it just really said to me that the Avenue is really one part of the Peachtree City, the community. We are like a central hub, and we want to make sure that we continue to put on meaningful community events and that we are a welcoming environment for people to come and gather throughout Peachtree City. I know that there might be some concerns about safety and security with this new ordinance. I do want to say that I'm really proud of the relationship that we have with the Peachtree City Police. They are fantastic. We work really well with them, and our tenants are also very comfortable reaching out to them directly with any issues. I know that they frequent the group me text for alerts and things of that nature, and we always have such a great response time. So we're always open to communication with them and any concerns if this ordinance is passed. We'd be happy to sit down and talk further on more details. Like Jasmine said, we do currently have a license that allows us to have open container on the property during our special events. And as of right now, I'm unaware of any major issues we've had with that, which is great. One thing I also want to bring up as well, and I think this is a testament of how well we kind of can all work together with the new Trader Joe's that just opened. I want to say thank you to the law enforcement, our fire marshal, and just everyone involved in making sure that that was such a smooth grand opening. We had such a large presence, and it would have not been manageable without the help of our law enforcement and fire marshal. And of course, thank you to Jasmine, the mayor, and Justin too, for meeting with us leading up to that so that we can really come together as a community and make sure that that wasn't going to be a big headache or a big burden on our citizens here. So thank you guys so much for that. And I think that's a good example of how we are willing to continue to work with the council and with the members of this community to make sure that the things that we do bring to the Avenue are smooth, safe, and welcoming.
Thanks very much.
I hope
Mayor.
that's good. Mayor, I did want to add, I'm sorry, she brought it up. As part of our process of creating ordinances, we do share them with the various departments. So I did want to add that our police department has reviewed this. Our court solicitor has also, code enforcement, the city attorney has reviewed. That's part of our process whenever we're building ordinances, just to ensure that all eyes have had a chance to take a look at the ordinance. And we did also just try to see if there was any other, which shopping centers would qualify for this. Currently, the Avenues is the only shopping center that we would see that would meet the requirements. However, the Willow District is still under construction, and it may potentially qualify if they have a communal gathering space, and if they meet the 3 restaurants with alcohol licenses. Those are the only 2 currently, based on the ordinance, that we see that would qualify.
All right, thank you. Council, any questions?
I don't know that it's a question, but I'd kind of like to look at this as this being our first reading and wait until next meeting to actually take action on it, so.
Is there anything in particular you want to learn about or get more information on?
I can't tell you right now, and it's not like it's a secret. It's just, I think we need to give some of our citizens maybe a chance to really understand what this is doing, and maybe if they have any opinions. Maybe there are parents out there who don't want open containers for, as an entertainment district all the time at the Avenue. I don't know. I'd like to hear from them if they have any issue.
You want to give the citizens time to weigh in?
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point.
Councilmember Johnson?
Well, I mean, that was my suggestion with Crabapple the last meeting. So, I mean, I'm always for citizen input. I don't see any harm in delaying it at one meeting and giving them the
2 weeks,
opportunity.
really.
Councilmember Holland.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Couple of questions for you, Jasmine. What are the boundaries of this? It's not in the paperwork, but what will be or what are proposed as the boundaries of this district?
During the application period, the actual district would submit their boundaries that they're interested in having. It would definitely have to be on their property. They wouldn't be able to provide boundaries outside of their property. But they would designate to us and we would review it. The city manager and staff would review to determine if they're sufficient, and it would still come to council with
It
a
still comes to
recommendation.
council. That's what I was
correct.
looking
Yes,
for.
sir.
Good. Thank you for that, because I wanted to find out where it's going to go to and are we going to get a chance at it. Second thing is, I like item number 1. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think the issue with the wine bar and taking a taste and taking it home and buying a bottle, I love it. I think it's a great service to the people in the city who like to drink wine, and that's perfectly fine. But item number 2, I have to be honest and go to confession here. I've been out of town for the last week, and I have not really studied all the detail on that. I agree with Councilwoman Brown that maybe we ought to table this, come back on the 11th for item number 2, and maybe get some input from the citizens, as both of the other councilwomen have suggested. And then we can take a good bite at it at that time.
If I may, the ordinance is intertwined, 1 and 2.
Oh.
This is an all or nothing, and there's nothing wrong with holding until, there's
Okay.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah. We'll just wait then.
Can I get a motion to continue the agenda item to the December 11th meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
New agenda item, 112506, resolution, micromobility and legislation. Mr. Holland, I know you have a presentation. I know also there was a presentation in the packet.
Yes.
And I will just tell you that with the corrections and changes that were the revision that you made, I'm fine with it. If you
Yep.
want to just go down the row here, Councilmember Johnson, do you want to weigh in?
I'm in favor.
Councilmember Brown?
I'm in favor.
Councilmember Holland?
Of course, I'm in favor.
All right, can I get a motion?
Yeah, I do have some comments after the motion. I'll make a motion that we accept.
Approve?
Oh, God. Shades of Frank DiStadio. That we approve this ordinance or this resolution 112506, resolution micromobility and legislation.
Second.
Go ahead.
I have a motion and a second. What are your comments?
I just want to echo some of the things that have been said. And I'm not going to go through this. The citizens can see it and read it. It's, I don't need to read what's on the presentation. This is all about safety. And I think I heard that from speaker to speaker tonight, that safety is the most important thing in regards, whether it's the people on the tag group or whether it's the citizens. It's all about safety. Now, the words that are in the resolution and the words that are in the bill are almost, once it gets to the legislature, they're going to slice and dice and make sausage out of it. So it doesn't really matter what goes in it at this point. What's important is that we are protecting as best we can with this type of legislation we're sending up to the state. We're protecting the safety of our citizens who use the cart paths pretty much every day. And that's the comment I have. Other than that, I'm not going to go through that.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. New agenda item E, 112507, American Legion Facility Use Agreement. Justin?
Thank you, Mayor. At the work session of the last meeting, Councilman Holland brought up considering a new agreement with the American Legion based on OCGA 3812, which states subject to the direction of a public officer authority in charge of a building, office, or meeting hall, political subdivisions of the state are authorized to furnish free of charge a building, office, and meeting hall for the exclusive use of the several nationally recognized veterans organizations and their auxiliaries. I did get a question from one of the council members on, if doing this for the Legion would open us up to other nonprofits being able to request rent from us free. That's basically what this OGA says, is this is an exclusive state law that allows us to do this service to our veteran organizations. So what we did is we just went into the old agreement or the current agreement that we have with the Legion and took out pretty much everything with rent or utilities or any payments to the city. And I did some of it. Our city attorney edited it and made it legal. And so you have it. You have the document, the new agreement in your packet. And if you all approve it tonight, we will get it with the Legion for them to approve and sign as well.
Can I get a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd be delighted to make this motion. I'd like to have us approve 112507 American Legion Facility Use Agreement.
Can I get a second?
Seconded.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. New agenda
Thank
item
you.
112508, fiscal year 26 budget amendment, sprung structure for Kedron Aquatic Center. Chris Hobby.
Hello, everyone. We do have this back before you. We introduced it at the last meeting, and just a couple of slides here. You see at the bottom there, that's us taking down the bubble. I guess that's taking down, not up. Couple of links that I was going to share, but I think what I'll do is I'll just send those to you so you can look at them at your leisure. The first one's like a 4-minute video that shows how the sprung structure goes up and then how it's also insulated. The second link is actually of a sprung structure at a private facility in Chamblee. And so that's fairly close by, but it is a private facility, but it shows you that facility, and it also has a 360 option, so you can actually walk around and look at it. And so I'm just going to email those to you and let you do that on your own. This is the facility in Jefferson, closest to us. It is not open yet. It's that new. But this shows what the sprung structure looks like after it's installed. The Jefferson facility is twice the size of our facility. And so it's much bigger. They did not choose to add the garage doors on the side that we were thinking that we wanted. So it's a little bit different. They didn't pick all of the bells and whistles, but this gives you some general idea of what that looks like. And then also that's what it looks like from the outside. The Jefferson facility, just the sprung structure itself was $1.2 million. In our case, it wouldn't be half of that, but I think it was around 800 is what we had gotten as a number on just the sprung structure. The rest of the work we're doing is repiping the entire facility, retiling the pools. So we're doing a major upgrade to the existing pools that are there. We went out when the project became bigger than what we originally started with just replacing a bubble. As we got into it and realized that, there are 4 layers of tile. The piping is old. A lot of work needs to be done. We went out and went to WM2 and got a number for them to do the design work for us, and that number came in at $247,500. They estimate the total cost of the project, this is all in including the sprung structure, at $4.5 million. We would actually ask for a budget of around $5 million, so we had some room to wiggle there. The $247,500 is the only ask tonight. It's only for the design work. Of course, this comes back to you all when that design work is complete, and then you decide whether or not we're moving forward with the project as designed. So, any questions?
I think as we left it, we wanted to go take a look. I think it's field trip time, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Is this, can we do 2 locations then in one day?
Yeah, we could do Chamblee and Jefferson. Harold actually spoke to the sprung representative today, who just happened to be in Jefferson today.
And they will host us if we want to go up and take a look at what they have built. And so we can do that is just when we can schedule it.
So time is of the essence because our bubble is not going to make it one more season. It's not going to make it next year, correct?
Right.
So we want to keep this moving. Will we negatively impact our timeline if we put this item on the December 11th agenda and make sure we go see these facilities in the meantime?
I don't think that's a big deal. I think a couple of weeks isn't going to hurt us. So if we can arrange for that field trip to happen between that time, I think that would be great.
Okay. Any other questions, council? And then we'll get a motion to continue this until the December 11th.
I think there was just one thing that I missed. What was the 800 number that you mentioned?
Oh, the actual cost of just the sprung structure. So it's only a small piece of the total. The rest of it is we've got to replace the grade beam that's there now. We're going to upgrade piping. We're going to retile the pool. There's a lot of additional work other than just the structure.
And even the utility, like HVAC and stuff, is not included
Right.
in the structure itself. We have to do that as a separate item to air condition and heat the actual structure.
Okay, did we have it before us where it was itemized out?
No, all we
just the
have so
design.
far is an engineering
Yeah.
estimate.
Okay.
They haven't, that would be part of their design package. They would come back with an itemized list of this is what we propose. And at that time, y'all could choose, we don't want to do 5 garage doors. We want to do 2. Just like we did with the pickleball. You can then go through it like an a la carte menu.
Thank you.
Chris, about how long does it take to do the design on this?
Uh,
What do we think? What time frame are we thinking where we're going to have to say, okay, now we need to figure out where we're getting this money from?
Yeah, I think design itself would probably take us till about April. And then we would have our design back. The time to do the work is another 4 to 6 months. So, we're getting there. If we're going to have this in time for next year, we're there. We've got to start moving.
It looks like,
Go ahead.
it looks like the way you just stated those numbers and dates, if I add them up right, you're looking at next September.
That's right.
Does that sound about right?
That's about what we're thinking, because then that would, the bubble would normally go up around that time, and so we're trying to hit this so that we're ready for next winter.
Will the facilities be able to be used, or it's just basically going to be shut down for
They'll
the
be
summer?
shut down for we think maybe the summer.
So yes, with doing this, it would all depend on the scope of work that we do. Obviously, with us tearing out the 5 layers of tile on the pool and the concrete work, that's going to shut the pool down for probably a significant amount of time. But as far as actual erecting the structure, that's 17 to 24 days is what they're estimating they can install the structure. That's once everything's on site. Obviously, with the engineering that goes behind that, with the balancing of the air temperature, with the water temperature, we're keeping the water around 92 degrees right now. So if we're not maintaining a good balance on that, we obviously don't want to have fogging issues indoors. So those are all things that we've got to take into consideration with this project, that's included in that number.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one more engineering question. Can you go back a slide to see the pictures? Oh, forward, whatever you got to go. There you go. You can look back at the outside picture. There you go. I'm sure that engineering has looked at the wind tolerance on this and the materials of construction and all of that. Give me the good news. Are we okay for this? Because we do get some pretty good winds in this city.
We are really good. They just built a similar facility in Caribbean nations.
Jamaica, they actually built one.
And it withstood the hurricane.
Okay.
Was it
You-
on the
you made
east
me
side of
happy.
Jamaica or the west side?
That's good.
Because it was two different hurricanes.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers that they were telling us at first, I honestly didn't believe them because no way. But I mean, they will stand up to 160 to 180
Good.
mile-an-hour winds.
Okay, thank you.
All right, council, can I get a motion to table this agenda item to our December 11th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Public hearing, 112508, administrative variance appeal for 104 Lanyard Bend.
Yes, the public hearing protocol is as follows. When the public hearing is open, members of the council will become hearers. No action on their part is in order until the mayor declares the hearing complete. First, city staff will present the item. The mayor will then allow a total of 10 minutes for members of the public to comment. No individual members of the public will be given more than 5 minutes to speak. Time limits may only be extended by a majority vote of council. Prior to closing the public hearing, city staff and the public will be given the opportunity to ask questions. When the mayor is assured that the input is complete, the public hearing shall be ended and the council may then debate the issue and render a decision. All speakers from the public are asked to follow these rules. 1, please wait to be recognized by the mayor. 2, come to the microphone and state your name or neighborhood prior to making remarks. 3, keep individual remarks under 5 minutes and do not repeat others' comments. And 4, address all comments to the mayor. Thank you. So Mayor and Council, this is an administrative variance appeal for 104 Lanyard Bend. On October 13th, the Administrative Variance Committee, comprised of Councilmember Clint Holland, City Manager Justin Strickland, and the Planning and Development Director Shayla Reed, met and reviewed administrative variance requests for the property at 104 Lanyard Bend. There were 2 setback, essentially, requests. 1 was for the existing home, for the 30-foot rear setback, that I believe it was a 5 feet into the rear setback request. That one was approved. The second request was for an additional 7.5-foot encroachment. That was for a non-compliant deck. The applicant is here. The applicant has appealed the decision of the denial. So this is solely for the 7.5-foot encroachment on the non-compliant deck, not on the 5-foot. And the applicant is here if you all have any questions for him.
Are we going to put up any pictures?
We do have pictures, however, because it's an appeal, it's essentially the applicant providing all of the documentation. It's a quasi-judicial process, so he is essentially bringing his information. Everything he has provided is within the packet.
Thank you. And as the applicant is here, would you care to speak?
Hello, thank y'all for y'all's time. I want to start off by saying that everyone at the permit department has been overwhelmingly helpful in this situation. I've lived in Peachtree City since 1975. In that time, we've seen the 60-plus years of Peachtree City change different members and different ordinances throughout the city. And in 75, we had one of the biggest houses on our street in Clydesdale Road, and there was a lot beside us that was too small to build on. And then through the ordinances of Peachtree City, they changed it and they built the smallest house on our street next to the biggest ones, which was no big deal. We were good neighbors with them. Everything was fine. And then I moved to Robinson Wood Estates, and I have rebuilt that house and stuff too. And that house is actually sitting on an acre of land, and me and my 2 neighbors on each side of me each have pools. The neighborhood's built on a hill, so my neighbor to the left can look out their windows down into our pool. I can look through my windows down into my other neighbor's pool, and that's just the way it is because of the lay of the land. Well, it's not y'all's fault, it's not my fault, but with all the building going on all these years and all the different ordinances, somehow or other things get skipped and missed, and my neighbor right now, my property goes 5 feet from their pool. Their pool pump is actually 15 feet on my property. Being a good neighbor, I'm trying to work out with them to trade some land so they don't have to mess with any of that stuff. It's all been up there for 30 or 40 years. So to my new house that I just bought, recently got divorced. I needed to downsize from my big house, and a friend of mine's parents, who passed away now, were going to sell their house, which was in need of repair, had never had any preventive maintenance. It's basically a gut job. That house is also probably the smallest lot on the street, so I don't know how that came to be, but my house was built over the back setback, so you can't move the house, but they solved that. So what's happened is there's a porch that's on the back of that house that's 10 feet wide or depth by 40 foot long. And that's in the setback. Okay, now this deck has been there since the 80s. And when I bought the house, they told me that they had built a little sunroom on it for his dad to watch baseball and football games on the back porch. And they built a flat roof, which eventually was rotting, but the room is in good shape. So I was going to put a pitched roof on there. I had all my permits. I wasn't trying to get around anything. But unfortunately, I didn't know that when I took the fireplace that was rotting down that I was getting into framework. So there was a stop work permit ordered. So now I'm just trying to rebuild the actual footprint that's been there for 20 or 30 years to modernize, to make it, I guess, up to date, up to code and everything else. I bought the house for me to downsize into, not to flip the house. But unfortunately, I will be moving, me and my sister buying some land to have a farm, so I'll be selling both of my houses in the next couple of years. The dilemma that I have is if I can't rebuild the room on the back porch to make it a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, I'll add another bathroom also, then it's not worth my while to really make a $40,000 or $50,000 investment to update this house. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to have to tear down the $20,000 or $30,000 worth of material that's been there for years just because it's in that variance. I do know for a fact that if I have to, I could go up with the house and no one could stop me, but that extra cost is just too much to go into, especially this day and time. And all I'm trying to do is rebuild the house that was in dilapidation since the 80s, I guess, and make it modern, make it right for the next person. Go by all the codes, get all the permits, and that's where I've been on this whole thing. I've rebuilt my house on Clydesdale. I rebuilt the house on Timber Ridge, and I haven't had a problem with those. And then I found out about these setbacks, and this is where the problems lie. So I know you can't make everybody happy all the time, but for people who are wanting to buy these older houses and to fix them up for themselves or whatever, and then they're finding out, well, now I've got to tear a porch off that was there. You know, what kind of message is that putting out for this neighborhood? You know, you want the houses to stay in dilapidated form, or do you want to be modern and upgraded into a nice neighborhood? So that's what I'm trying to do, is invest about $40,000, $50,000 into the house so that it's a great livable house for a great young family, and they can have 3 bedrooms and a work room, or 4 bedrooms, whatever, with 3-bath house. So I'm asking for that 7.5 foot. Like I said, I'm on a hill on this neighborhood, and overseeing my back neighbor, I tower over her. So if I put another story on my house, that's really going to be overlooking her. And so I'm just wanting to build on the back deck the original sunroom back with a pitched roof, and bring everything up to modern code and such. So that's where we're at.
All right, thank you very much. You can take your seat, but maybe don't go far.
Okay, thank
With that, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone, let me see a show of hands of anyone who wishes to speak in favor. Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing to anyone who wishes to speak in opposition. May I see a show of hands? I see two. Go ahead and take the microphone. You'll each have 5 minutes. Please start with your name and address.
My name is Cecilia Uceda, and I live in Fisher's Bank. Madam Mayor, I would like to address this claim that this deck was grandfathered. A structure can only be grandfathered if it was legal when built. This deck was built without a permit, so it has never been a legal, non-conforming structure. When I first reported it 2 years ago, the city labeled it pre-existing and non-conforming. Any work must bring it into compliance. The applicant bought the property from a friend with full opportunity to inspect it. The deck, now in disrepair with the roof gone, has violated the setback since 2002. He also worked outside his roof permit, including removing the chimney. He doesn't live there and intends only to fix and sell. Our lots are small and setbacks protect space and property values. Granting a variance for an illegal encroachment of this size would set a harmful case in point. And also I'd like to remind that this was originally, at the first hearing, it was a request for a 12.50 encroachment that is approximately 53 feet long. I, along with my neighbors who signed a petition, respectfully ask the council to deny this variance. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Kim Miller, and I live in Fisher's Bank as well. And I think Cecilia said it all. Our yards are very, very small, so having this go into her backyard is a lot. So I oppose it. Thanks.
Thank you. With that, I will close the public hearing. Council?
I have a couple of questions for the applicant, if you would step up to the microphone
If
again.
you would, Mr. Thompson, and thank you.
I looked online at the Zillow listing for the house when the house sold, when you bought it in February of 2024. And I'm searching through the wrong pile of paper, sorry, hold on. And one of the things that I did notice was that there was a very specific description in the listing. And it appears to be something that was written by the former owner. Now, you're saying you were friends with the former owner?
With their son from years ago, not the owners of the house.
Okay.
I didn't know them.
Okay. Because, I mean, on the listing, it says that it talks about decks on the front and the back, and it highlights that there's a small sunroom unconditioned on the back. And then very carefully in the wording, it says, "We're selling this property as is. We will not be performing any updates or corrections. We welcome buyers to obtain an inspection. However, this is purely for your sake and the sake of loans. Our intention is to take the best offer and move the property as efficiently as possible." It goes on to say the house is livable and some other things. But you did not have an inspection done before you bought the property?
Correct. I actually went myself and looked over it and went through the crawl space, went to the roof, and saw what I was getting. I knew it was a total gut job. I didn't necessarily know about the rear setback. My problem is I just can't believe that nothing was ever said for 20 or 30 years to make the previous owners tear it down if it was that big of a problem. It was never mentioned until they were going to buy the house. They didn't sell it to them, they sold it to me, and then that became a problem, and they're trying to kill the sale on the house. I don't know. So I don't know why they don't want a house that's rebuilt. But
Well, I'm going to take a guess that somebody in our building department probably told you that at the time that this house was built, we didn't have a lot of building codes and regulations and ordinances and stuff. And over time, we added those. And a lot of houses, especially on small lots like this, houses get built really to the edge of the buildable space. So when the deck was built by the former owner, there was not likely, because it's an unknown thing exactly what year it was built. We can tell from some of the photos that we have, historic photos, that it's been there for a while, but we don't have the exact date that it was built. But it was probably built before there was even, an building permit process.
Right.
So unfortunately, when something like that happens and something gets built, as you know from the administrative variance, while the term you used was grandfathering, but that was not necessarily the proper term, it's a pre-existing condition when you bought it.
Right.
So it's not like it's grandfathered in, like it's already approved. But our code enforcement people had been involved. Was any of the code enforcement issues ever conveyed to you by any of the realtors that were involved in any of this?
No.
Okay, because there were already, by the time the property was being conveyed, there was already several complaints that had been lodged, and code enforcement had been actively involved at that point. So let me see if I have any other questions for you, and then. So you've taken down the chimney. What else did you do already on the back side of that house?
They had a flat roof over the sunroom they built on, and that had a little dip to it, so it had rotted, so I was going to rebuild that. And when I got to the chimney, taking the siding off the chimney, it was so rotten around there that I said, there's no use even saving the chimney. I'm just going to take the whole fireplace out and build the roof as a pitch that'll cover that chimney hole and make the pitch right on the roof.
Okay.
So that's where we're at, is the chimney's rotten. There was a leak there in front of it, and there's major work that needs to be done just to replace the rotten chimney. So that's why I was going to just do away with it.
Counsel, can I ask you a question? And I wasn't in the administrative variance. How is this different from, say, last time when there was a stairway in the backyard that was being replaced by existing, and we said, okay, all right, well, same footprint, and it's been there for a long time, previous owner. I genuinely am trying to compare what we've seen before, something built 25 years ago that's been there all along. One of the neighbors in the packet attests to the fact that it's been there since she moved in 2002. So how is this different from and we've seen more than one of these, where somebody comes in, they want to replace existing because it's decrepit on the same footprint? What am I missing?
I can tell you in a nutshell.
Okay.
You have multiple different citizens from several different addresses in the adjacent properties that are saying that they are opposed to this. Whereas in some of the other cases that we've had come in front of us, there's been no citizen opposition to it.
That's true, and that's a good point. But one of the opposition today was the deck has violated the setback since 2001. To my point. I hear you. You're right about that.
Well, until anybody comes forward to the building department and tries to get a permit for anything under the current standards, where they have to get a survey and actually do a different application process than what was being done in the past, a lot of the homeowners don't even know that they're infringing or encroaching into the setbacks. Now, in this case, there was a sickness of the former owner that delayed everything. So, I mean, there are a lot of extenuating circumstances that make this very different from anything we've looked at before. Code enforcement couldn't just go and say, hey, you're infringing into the setbacks because the owner was in a nursing home, memory care unit, or whatever, and they did not pursue it with a power of attorney type person or other family member. So, you know, Ted's leaning forward like he's gonna say something. Jump in there, Ted.
I need to hear this.
I think that with the one you're referencing, Mayor, there was something to show that it was a prior legal non-conforming use. This one, I don't think it's been shown. I think that the citizen that spoke, actually her point was very much a relevant factor. I don't know that it's been established that what's being proposed would fall under a legal non-conforming use. I think that's the difference.
So the proposal, the reason for the appeal.
Right.
And the request, basically, is not legal.
My understanding is, at some point, this deck was added well after the standards had been put in place. The previous ones we've looked at, the decks were on the original structures. Just listening tonight, and I've not reviewed everything.
Okay,
but-
so the difference is it was added
Right.
illegally.
So in other words, if you have something that was done back in the 70s, before we had certain setbacks and so forth, then even though it violates our standards now, they're grandfathered in, because back then it wasn't illegal.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm having a hard time hearing any evidence that this wasn't added after we had adopted the relevant setbacks and standards. In other words, it was never legal to begin with.
Thank you, that's a very good
But
explanation.
we don't know when it was put on, though, do we?
I've not seen
I
anything.
didn't hear
I've
or
not
see
seen-
anything on that when
No.
that deck was
Whereas,
put on.
in the last one, we could actually go back in maps and show that it had been there, the stairs had been there. What got turned down was them expanding beyond what was there.
True. And can I ask the committee, the administrative variance committee members, is what drove the decision to unanimously deny?
I think part of, I mean, I do want to say too, back to Ted's point where we could see on the other one that we had recently, we could go on the map and see basically when it was put in.
Have we looked at the maps?
Yeah, I did today, and as far back as they go, it's there. So it's been there a long time.
But it doesn't go back to 1980, that's the issue.
I can't go back that far.
I know.
That's why
How far back can you go?
I think I got into the early 2000s or something.
Well, that's what everybody's saying, at least, a
Yeah.
couple neighbors, at least 2001, it's been here.
I'm trying to think back. I mean, really for me, I think it came down to it's a major, as a staff member, I know that it was under administrative variance. If it was an existing structure, it will come to us.
Mhm.
But, and part of his house was in the setback, so I know we approved that part because honestly, we don't want him to have to tear down his house. You know, that was part of the decision on the house, but I think with the deck, for me, it came down to, I didn't feel comfortable approving that much of a setback. You know, almost half of the setback.
Yeah,
12.5 feet is the
Right.
request.
Yeah.
And
the 30 foot.
we approved 5 of that 12 and a half, and now we're looking at 7 and a half. But at this point, I've just happened to look at the addresses of the people who were for and against the building of this. And at 106 Lanyard, you have the Bakers there, and then you also have it as a denial. That was the person who's in favor of it, it's your neighbor on one side. And then I see in here that the 106 Lanyard has got different names on denial. So we got a little conflict here of who's the owner of that and all of that stuff. Not that that's going to make a difference in the decision that we make, but it's just a little bit of a conflict of you've got the same address for it and against it. And that's just kind of unusual to see that.
The house had just recently sold, so the old owner signed saying that she was happy for me to rebuild it.
I see.
And then she sold it, and I guess the new owner is opposing it.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. That was a little bit, you know, these are always difficult decisions to make, and I think I've said that before when we were in the administrative variance. But when I hear the city manager say, as far back as he can go to see this, it's been there. And that means it's gone back to the early 2000, let's just say 2000 to make it a round number. It's been there for 25 years. And this is the first we're hearing of this after 25 years. So to me, that says you know, we ought to, you know, I might be in favor of just letting this go and make it so that we can approve it. That would be my say-so on this. Because if it's been there for that long, why wasn't it brought up before? That's my point.
So, given your explanation, Mr. Meeker, can you confirm that we have standing to allow the is it a total now of 7.5
No.
feet? Because 5 of it was
5
house.
is already done, but this is 7.5 additional.
Yeah.
We have standing to approve this, it's up to us.
If it's been proven that it was there and existing, then that would make it a legal, non-conforming use, so you could ratify what was there.
All we know is it was there, or we can discern that it was there in a 2001, 2002 timeframe. That's all we know. We don't get to know.
25 years.
So with knowing no more
Yeah,
than that,
Yeah, then it would be considered. And again, it's not our burden to prove otherwise. It's the applicant's burden to prove it. So I don't know until tonight what Justin found out that information was really available to the Administrative Variance Committee.
oh,
We didn't have that.
oh,
We only that's the reason why we only did just the house, because that's all we had at that time.
Well, since that last meeting we had, our administrative variance was before you all approved the last one that came to you all. That's when I really clicked, like, oh, I can go back and look at historical satellite images, which is what I've done.
back to the theme, it is a difficult decision, and I'm sorry you're having to go through all this. But we also want people to be able to improve their homes, and if it's on an existing, to replace on the existing footprint, is that what this is?
Correct.
I'm in favor, knowing what you've learned, what we've
Well,
learned.
One of the things that I would like to point out is that one of the things Councilman Holland just said was that we're only just hearing about this. Well, you don't hear about these things until properties sell, until people try to improve them, can't. But we, the city, have heard about this for a couple of years because the adjacent neighbors have been complaining about this structure for quite some time.
In what regard?
Ms. Uceda had complained to the code enforcement department about the deck and being in the setback because she lives right behind it. And she knew it was there and she complained, and our code enforcement department was involved. And they would have taken more action had the owner not been in, for a lack of in a memory care unit back 2 years ago.
I see.
Because she actually lodged complaints with our code enforcement department before this property conveyed, and she was assured, there are memos in the packet from Tim Merritt, basically saying that we would make sure that this information was transferred or whatever, conveyed to when the property sold.
And when did you purchase the property?
It was last February.
Valentine's Day is when he bought the property.
All right, any other comments, questions?
My concern is detriment to the public, which is clearly outlined as a reason for not approving certain things. We have a lot of very odd-shaped lots. We have a lot of very small lots. We have a lot of people who build right to the edge of the buildable space. We have a lot of people who build into the setbacks, whether they are aware of it or not. That doesn't make any of it right and acceptable in a case-by-case basis just because one gets approved. That doesn't mean we automatically carte blanche give it all to them. In this particular case, I really do feel like there has been opposition to what has been done on this property since before he bought it. And I think that gives that complaint some level of standing in this case.
Okay, Ms. Johnson?
Yeah, I would say that it is significant. I appreciate that we have the purpose of our ordinances in here, and it does state that, as Councilwoman Brown just stated. I just have a couple of questions for the applicant, because I read the exact same thing that she read earlier, saying that the previous homeowner, they're not gonna do any work or improve or make any corrections. And I guess that was a pretty big red flag for me, because if I'm reading it, my guess is as a homeowner, you probably read that they're not going to do any corrections either, which tells me like maybe you knew that there were corrections that needed to be made. Did you know that this?
No, I just knew that his parents were elderly, needing help, and they didn't want to spend a lot of money on redoing the house. They wanted to just get some money to help pay for that, for their mother and father, to keep them in a home.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why they didn't try to fix the house and sell it. He just wanted to get rid of it and pay with that money to keep his parents going. His mom passed, so.
Okay, thank you. When you say that you went over there and you inspected it on your own, are you a licensed inspector?
No.
Or you're not?
No, but I've done enough housework to know and look and see if there's problems and the obvious stuff. So I saw that it was a complete gut job, inside and out, and I was prepared for that. I just wasn't prepared that I was going to have to tear down possibly the whole back porch and not be able to put one back up, and the sunroom on top of it. Like I said, it's
And
been
when
there
you-
for 25 years or more.
And when you bought it, you didn't have a survey done?
No, but I've had a survey done since.
You've had a survey done?
Right, and I've
since.
also hired a contractor to
Yeah,
help.
the permit.
I've also hired a contractor that drew up all the plans of how I was wanting to do the room with everything proper. So-
Yeah, this one is a lot more difficult, I will say that. Before, when we've had similar variances that have come before us, as mentioned previously, there wasn't a neighbor on that backside, and there was a permit process that was gone through, albeit incorrectly and hand-drawn, and we didn't have the correct information at that time, and the city didn't come back and do the inspection. There were things that weren't perfect, but there was an attempt by the homeowner at the time to do things correctly, where I don't see that here. I see a homeowner that did something that they weren't supposed to do. They didn't get caught, so it's been there for a long time, but it's hard to justify so far into the setback, especially when you have it where it backs up to a neighbor who, previous to you buying it, has complained about it, correct?
Yes, she did.
And, I mean, this went before, and I understand that this is the first appeal I think that I've sat through, so this is a little bit different of a process. But I would say the burden is on you. The burden is on you to show me that there truly is something that was done to your detriment, and that there's a burden that you would face. And there is a burden that you would face, but there's also some due diligence that wasn't taken. And the opportunity was there to do that. And I respect our ordinances. I also respect the variance process, and there's plenty of those that have been granted. And I truly am having a hard time. It is a large deck, and I am sorry, I don't see where I can justify approving this.
Any last comment, Mr.
Yes,
Howell?
Madam Mayor. My memory tells me during the administrative variance portion that we went through in October, that Ms. Yusita did not like the idea of the ability to see into her yard, that privacy issue. And I respect that kind of privacy issue that she brought up, because I think that's a valid thing. If the privacy could be set up with maybe and I'm not saying you need to do this, but just a thought. If a nice 6-foot fence on the back of the property, because I believe she's in the back of you, could maybe adjudicate this thing a lot quicker, because that gives the neighbor the privacy that she wants in her backyard, and I got that. We all want that. But at the same time, an approval of your variance may be contingent on a recommendation that you put in a 6-foot fence to give the privacy to the neighbor. And that's just my thought on that. I'm not saying that this council is going to do that, but just my thought.
There was a 6-foot fence there that her husband actually helped the old owner build, but the posts are rotting now, and so I had to take it down because it was dangerous. But I'm planning to rebuild the post and put that back up.
Okay.
And also on the other side of that fence, they had these huge red tip bushes that were 20-something feet tall, and they just cut those bushes to the top of the fence level in the last couple of months. So I don't know why they would want to open up the view to the house so blatantly when they had the cover of all these bushes behind them.
I'm not going to get into those kinds of discussions, but, you know, Robert Frost said, good fences make good neighbors. I think this might be something we may want to take into consideration here. And, you know, maybe that's some of the answer for this council, that a nice fence on the back of this property may end up changing some minds to allow this variance.
Well, I would go further than that. There is a way in the fence ordinance to actually apply for a variance to build a taller fence. And certainly in this situation, that might be what's needed.
And I would gladly do that if I'm permitted to build the room on the back porch.
All right. Council, can I get a motion?
I'll give it a try if anyone else.
All right,
Madam
Mr.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve this variance for Mr. Thompson and his property with the following recommendations that need to be done. And that is to put in a privacy fence in the back of the yard. And Councilman Brown, what were you suggesting as far as the height? 6 feet is what we normally have. What would you suggest? Because I don't really.
Here's the problem. We can't compel him to build a fence.
No, I know that. We said recommend. I did use the word recommend.
And I will gladly build a fence.
State your motion, Mr. Holland.
Okay. Recommend that he puts in a fence appropriate for the height, and that would be the approval.
State your motion, Mr.
Okay.
Holland.
Madam, yeah, I'll start it again. Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve this variance with the recommendation of putting in a privacy fence in the back of the property at a minimum of 6 feet. There you go, at a minimum of 6 feet, period. That's my motion.
I have a motion.
Wait a second. State your motion again.
Oh, good God.
No, his motion was that to approve the administrative variance appeal
Yes.
for 104, and he added a recommendation about a fence.
That's it.
So it's just a recommendation.
Yeah.
I'll second for the sake of taking the vote.
I have a motion and a second. All in
Wait,
favor?
can we have any other discussion?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so say this is denied. Is there any other process that he's able to go through before potentially removing this deck? Or does this decision make him remove this deck? Could he come back and say, I want the fence, and the neighbor's okay with that? And then is there an appeal to an appeal?
Well, he could appeal this decision to Superior Court. That's the next step. He could also come back and ask again, but is it a 6-month or a 12-month? 6-month waiting period.
You know, Madam Mayor, can I make another comment? This is a neighbor we're talking about, both sides are neighbors. It sounds like, you know, Robert Frost was right. What is that, 150 years ago when he wrote that poem? And I think we need to really take that into consideration here. The gentleman has offered to put a fence in there. I don't know if that's going to do the perfect, that's not the perfect answer for the neighbor, but it certainly is a handout. Shake hands, come on, let's do this, because we're all citizens here in Peachtree City. And we've got to be able to allow our people that here in this city to be courteous and kind, but at the same time, allowing people to improve their properties. And I'm sure you're surprised at me saying that, Madam Mayor, but I think in this case, this is a perfect example of how neighbors can get along and put a fence in, make some privacy for the neighbor, and move on, approving the a variance of giving you the extra 7.5 feet.
All right, I have a motion and a second.
I have one more thing before you go there.
Absolutely.
If we approve this encroachment, does he get to build something more than just the deck?
He just gets to replace the deck.
Replace the deck. Okay. Good.
With the
What about
structure on
the,
top?
what about the structure?
Because it's
What structure?
There's a
Sunroom.
porch structure there. He removed the roof already.
He can replace the roof.
with a pitched roof, it would be a different roof.
Yeah.
He's putting on a pitched roof, or are you putting on a?
It was
If you
flat
give
last
him
time
a
with flat
variance
pitch.
to encroach, then he gets to encroach with a structure.
Okay.
With what was there, but nothing more.
He can't encroach further into the setback than what he's already done.
Could he build a room the entire width of the entire deck and make the whole thing a porch?
Unless you qualify it
How do we qualify it?
by limiting the encroachment to the existing encroachment.
An encroachment to the existing dimensions of the encroachment.
That's what you did on the other one that was approved. You limited, and you didn't let them go any further than that.
Well, but you see, in that particular case, the deck was in good repair. It's not like they were, wasn't it? It was in good repair.
Yeah, it was in good repair.
The stairs were the issue that we were bickering over at that point.
Right.
So we could actually approve it to the current dimensions of
Limiting
the
it
current
to
deck
the current encroachment. Yes,
with only the current
Dimensions.
porch size.
correct.
Can I ask one more question?
Of course.
Yes.
And this might be for the neighbor to the back. How long has that neighbor lived in that house? Did they purchase that house when this house and structure already existed?
Microphone, please.
I've been living in that house since 2011, and I didn't know about encroachments until I got a survey. And a reminder that he wants to create another room with a bathroom in that porch, and he's not my neighbor. He bought the property and is wanting to sell it. I've lived there for 13 years. My neighbor has lived on both those sides. We are all opposing this. And this is the size of this encroachment is really significant. It doesn't matter whether, he puts a 6-foot fence. He should respect the setbacks. I mean, right now the structure is in disrepair. Like he said, it's a gut job. He's buying it to flip it. So why not keep the buffer? He can do whatever he like, a second floor. He has other options, but respect the setback limits that are in the neighborhood.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
And then I had an additional question, because it sounds like right now this is unfinished. It doesn't have air conditioning. It's essentially a deck with a structure on it. But it sounds like there might be other work going into this to add a bathroom into that space.
No, the bathroom is going inside the house.
Okay,
It's
so
not
it
going on
won't
the back
be,
porch.
it won't, your intent is not to finish it as like finished square footage for your house. This would just be, you're just replacing what's there. I think we've already discussed that.
It's just gonna be the one room that we're just building a new roof on, is basically what's happening, so it can be used as a workroom or a bedroom. And I'm adding a bathroom where the hall closet used to be to give it more bathroom space, so that's not in the back, it's not in the backyard with the structure. So that's what was.
Okay, all of that's separate from the structure.
Yes,
Okay.
that's inside the house.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to rescind my second to the motion.
I have on the floor a motion. Is there a second?
I can't second it.
No, you
No,
can't.
yes.
Seeing none, the motion dies on the vine. Can I get a different motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we deny this application or the appeal.
I don't know if I can deny it either. I am sorry. This is really difficult.
It is difficult.
It's not, There's a lot of different factors in this. And I was hoping that I would come into this tonight and that there would be a lot of clarity to this, and there just hasn't been.
I'm trying to really make this a beautiful house that's up to code and par and everything else. Like I said, it was dilapidated, to say the least. And all I'm trying to do is get it so I can get my money back, but I'm trying to make it right.
I understand.
And if I've got to halfway do it, I've still got the old siding that I was going to use on a barn. I can nail it back on the house, let somebody else deal with this problem. And then you have a dilapidated house in this nice neighborhood that's going to sit there for a while. I mean, this is Peachtree City. People need to be able to update their houses, especially with a footprint of 25 years.
I gotta say, I haven't said much, but it isn't very often that we get 5 neighbors who come in, or people who take the time to come in and weigh in like this. And I'm terribly sorry to say this. I don't think it's best, in my opinion, to approve the appeal.
I'm listening to our lawyer saying this is an existing non-conforming, and we just did one of those existing non-conforming, but now we're not going to do the second one. Interesting. Thank you. It's, you gave us the right answer, and we didn't accept it. I'm certainly in favor of allowing this variance, but if the will of the council says no, I can't do any more than that.
We have to do it as a formal vote, though.
Yeah, we have a motion
Okay.
for denial on the table. That's where we stand right now.
I'm going to second it, and this is the hardest second that I've ever given.
I have a motion for denial and a second. All in favor of the denial, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
The appeal is not granted, and I'm sorry. Council staff topics. Top 10, 2025 Community Impact Award recipient for PTC 101. Justin, this is big news.
Yeah, I think, did you apply for it, Jasmine? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yay.
We applied for an award with Civic Plus, who operates our agenda software and our website, and they're known nationwide in the local government community. And they do awards for community impact, good things that governments do for their community. So Jasmine applied for our PTC 101 program, specifically the first year when we brought it back. So it's a high honor because Civic Plus is nationwide. So we got in the top 10 of this prestigious award throughout the country. And really, it's an effort of Jasmine Julio, not me.
Let's hear it.
So, yeah, we're just excited to be recognized for it.
Thanks very much. Not only did she apply for the award, but also put together the class.
Yes.
And it's an amazing class, and
She
no
was the
doubt we'll have
backbone.
even more than 40 next time around. Council staff topics, fire tower project. Clint Holland.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I want to be able to speak clearly on this, that I know we pulled it out of the budget, but what I would like to do and put this on a future agenda to be able to be discussed, to possibly use some of the monies that we have in reserve, in our reserve fund, to make sure we keep our ISO 1 here in this city with building the fire tower for the services that, for the education. Help me out here, Clint. Training, that's the right word, for the training of our people, to make sure that we've got the best fire department and EMS in the state. Clint, if you have anything to add to that, I'm going to try to put this on the future agenda that we can vote on this.
No, sir. It's been a long time item for the department, and we're happy to discuss with you and provide you any data that you need going forward.
I think that we've always said, oh, we support the police and the fire department and the EMS. Well, I'm putting this out there because it's time to make sure we follow what we say we're supposed to be doing, is supporting them. And if this is what the fire department wants, then I don't mind having us talk about maybe using some of the money in the reserve fund. I think it's 383,000. Is that correct, Justin?
Somewhere around
Hang
there.
on one second, look,
As
I'll
like-
look at the capital sheet.
Chief's got the exact number probably.
385,000 is my memory.
385?
353.
353.
What a bonus, it's on sale.
So if I may, Mr. Holland, we had it in the budget. I didn't take it out of the budget.
I know that.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now you want us to have a greater conversation about reducing the reserves. I'm ready to have that conversation as well.
Yeah.
We will have a new council member here in a matter of weeks, and I think that's an important conversation to have, and we'll be setting lots of priorities, like this one, which has always been one of mine.
Yep.
And I would suggest that we hold that thought. I wanted it when it was removed from the budget. I wanted it in the budget. I would suggest we hold that thought as we're all making our lists for the retreat in the new year, when we'll be pooling our ideas together, slicing and dicing and creating priorities together. And that is definitely one of mine. Sounds like it's one of yours. and
It definitely is.
I'd like to have that conversation at that time.
I-
We will have a lot on our list.
I agree that we should have it at at a retreat. But the reason why I wanted to put it on the January agenda, I think it's important enough that it starts then, that we talk about it before we wait till February, because the city manager is already going to be starting to put his budget together. And I'd like to make sure he has some consensus from us as to, that definitely is going on there.
The city manager will put his budget together following our retreat, where we pull all these priorities and talk about our various projects that we want to see. That's what the retreat is for.
I will just add to that, though, that if we're pulling from reserves, it's a budget amendment no matter what budget it's in. Like, we could do it immediately if it's a budget amendment.
You mean to
Does that
tell me
make
we
sense?
could do it right now?
I mean, we could,
Not tonight.
no. We could have it before you December 11th. I mean, we've got the data from when we had it in the budget. I'm just saying.
So you're saying we could put it on an agenda for discussion, but then follow up with more discussion at the retreat? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
No, okay.
What I mean is we could have it ready for you to vote on December 11th and approve the budget amendment. It just depends on how you want to do it. You could wait till the retreat.
I don't know if there's a lot of discussion to have. Either we want it or we don't want it.
Well, that was
Clint,
my
we have a lot
philosophy
of
when you
other-
took it out, Mr. Holland.
We have a lot of
I-
other things that are coming up budget-wise.
Right.
We have a huge enclosure for Kedron, and we have yet to figure out where we're gonna fund that from.
Okay.
So I don't know that it's to the point where we can just indiscriminately put it back in.
Exactly.
So
I want it. Make no mistake.
delaying a few more months isn't gonna,
Yeah.
strip us of our ISO 1 rating, not just yet.
Ms. Johnson, you have a thought on the matter?
Oh, I think, yeah, we can discuss it in the future. I'm happy we can talk about it.
Am I hearing that you want this on the agenda next meeting?
He can do that on his own.
I did that.
You can put it on the agenda next meeting, Mr.
Yeah,
Holland.
I don't know if I want to put it on the next meeting, but certainly on a future meeting.
There you go.
And that's what I'm hoping to do. I would wait till the new member joins, and I would put it on the January 5th? Is that the one? I'd put it on the January 5th agenda.
All right. Council Staff Topic C, 250th Anniversary of the United States.
Yeah, and this is another one that, we installed the Liberty Tree here in our city. And it's now over near the Drake Field. And our 250th anniversary is coming up, of the United States coming up. And I don't see any plans yet. I'm sure that our Recreation Department has already talked about this. But we really don't know here on council what is being planned for that event. It is a pretty big event, that's a quarter of a millennium. So is there anything in the works on this, staff?
We've discussed a few items. We've been looking at some things, but right now we've discussed a few items so far, but we are still looking at options, and until we have something a little bit further set in stone, we'll get back with you.
I do know that the Sons of the American Revolution and the Daughters of the American Revolution have reached out and they want to be part of it, and they want to help, and they may even, who knows, they may want to contribute to what this event could be. But the planning of that event is really going to depend here on our city to do that. That's not something we're going to get outside people to do. Is that correct, City Manager?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think some of the options are we'll have to talk about. Do we want to do a special thing for the 250 itself? Do we want to incorporate it into the 4th of July festivities? Yeah, there's things to talk about there.
And lastly, a point I'd like to make is potentially putting a plaque up. That tree that we put in there, which supposedly should be at least here for another 100 years, at least what I was told. And I'm sure the arborist can confirm that. But, put a plaque up, say this was done on the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, and the tree was planted as a Liberty tree in commemoration of what was done at the original 1776. So those are the comments that I like to have done at the 250th anniversary this coming 4th of July, maybe in conjunction with our 4th of July celebration.
Okay, any other council staff topics?
Yes. I have a list. Because I neglected to go back to my list at the last meeting, so now I have two things. Do we have to, maybe Jasmine can answer this for me. I had suggested that we change the order of the agenda in such a way that new alcohol licenses that are now a very routine matter are at the beginning of the agenda. Do we need to put that on an actual, on the agenda to talk about changing the agenda?
We don't have to. I mean, we can put them under consent. The thing is that we do advise the applicant that we will hear their agenda item, and what typically happens is they show up, you approve it, and they've come in. So we've been putting them under new agenda only because it gives the opportunity to applicants to be heard if they do have something to say. But we could add them to the consent agenda, and it doesn't require any vote. Originally, that was my intention, to have them under consent, but we do notify the applicant, and they always want to show up. So I just,
I guess I'm kind of asking, should we create like a different, like a new permit authorization or a new license, category or whatever, to put it toward the front of the agenda? Some of our meetings in the beginning, when we have presentations and other things going on, or ceremonies or awards or different things, sometimes we don't get to those things. And if we're talking about holding up a business owner at a meeting for a couple of hours, sitting there waiting for their item to come up, I'm just trying to be kind of business friendly about the whole idea. But, is there a way for us to do that, is the question.
Yeah, so most of the items on the agenda, we follow Robert's rules or parliamentary procedure when we're talking about some of the titles. But in this case, we could add it to consent. I can notify you all or notify the mayor if the person is here, and at that point, if the mayor wants to advise that the applicant is here, we can do that as well.
You could also pull it off of consent in that instance.
Correct, that way it's immediately just addressed. Because there would be there isn't anything else I can think of that, we can put like public hearings at the top or different things like that at the top, but since it's no longer a public hearing related to alcohol, it would just be a category solely for this.
Okay, then maybe what we can just do is put it as item A under new agenda items, to kind of like put them ahead of some of the other more bogged down things, maybe? Okay.
And we can try the consent thing if, because only if they tell me they're coming is when I put it under new agenda item. If they don't say they're coming, I think I put a couple under consent, but when they say they're coming, that's when I put it under new agenda, just in case. And I think there was, like with Pint and Play, there was a specific question for the applicant on how they were going to pour. So it just gives you all the opportunities to ask questions if you.
And I'll also mention this, at the risk of getting slapped around, but if they otherwise meet the qualifications, council can delegate it to the city manager to simply approve the application without the need for it to appear on an agenda.
That's true too. I like knowing who's getting an alcohol. I like it coming to council. I like to see it, and if I do, I suspect others do too.
It
we
gives
can-
also a good opportunity to announce that there is a new business and a
That's
new
right.
license in the
Right.
community. I understand that, but
Okay, so in my attempt to kind of like streamline the process, I might be taking away a little of the thunder for the people that, want to get recognized? Okay. We can leave it under new agenda items, I guess.
At the top,
for
well,
now.
at the top of the list.
Or it's, yeah.
I can say I do tell them they're not required to come. And I think just in their excitement, they'd like to come, so.
Okay, the other item I have on my list is, and I'm not gonna go into great detail on this, I'm just gonna tell you that I want to readdress the burn ordinance specifically for larger properties. I've had a lot of people that I talk to who are having some major issues. So, I'll put something together and try to get it on the next agenda.
All right. Councilmember Johnson?
I don't normally have something, but I have something. This is something I've just kind of been sitting on for a while. I wasn't going to bring it up probably until the new year, but, some things struck me tonight. So, months ago, I had a young man come up to me. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. I do not like showing emotion like this, but
It's passion.
it is passion. I had a young man come up to me and express a desire to be part of our city government. He wanted to be on a youth council of sorts. And I thought this was a great idea. I've talked to Jasmine. I guess this was an idea previously before, and there was some paperwork that was drawn up, so she emailed that to me, and I've kind of been looking at that and thinking about this. So this week, I had the opportunity to go to McIntosh High School, and with this thought in mind of a possible youth council, I wanted to do a little bit of research. So this is my third year going in there, and I asked the teenagers in each of these classes, how do you feel that you are viewed by your community? And if we think about how the people of this community talk about teenagers, my guess is you can imagine the things that those teenagers said. And if you can't, let me tell you, they said they're annoying, they're loud, they speed, they run people off the golf cart paths. That's how they feel their community views them. They also realize that those things are true. There are those problems, and they recognize that. But when I said, what can your community do for you to improve that? Boy, did they light up. Every single class. And they were coming up with great solutions and great ideas. And they had such an interest in wanting to be part of those solutions. So, in a world that is where mental illness is so prevalent, we have a faction of our community. And I sat here tonight, and this is why I'm talking about it tonight, is because this micro-mobility bill. I sat here and I did little tick marks every time the citizens in this room talked about youth in the city and talked about teenagers. Only one time where they referred to as being polite. And I will tell you, I sat in a high school with hundreds of students this week, and there's a few more that are polite than deserve to be referred to as hooligans. We have great teenagers here. And we have great teenagers that want to be part of the solutions that are in the city, because they also recognize that they're here. And I will tell you also, it's not just with the teenagers. There's adults being rude, there's adults being loud. There are issues all over. And I think we want to come together as a community and bring them in and let them be a part of that. So I would advise in this coming year that we look at putting out a new group for teenagers in the city where they can come in and be a part and be part of a group and be an advisory council for us. I'm not putting it on an agenda or anything right now. We can discuss it in the future. There are things to work out. But in light of the conversations and the public comments that I heard tonight, it kind of pushed this to the forefront for me. So that is all I have to say.
And Laura, you would be the perfect liaison to such a teen council or a youth council.
That's very kind. I will tell you, I have 5 kids, and when I had kids, people always said, well, just wait till they're teenagers. And I will tell you, I love my teen. That's my favorite. They're my favorite. I was a substitute teacher. I went to middle schools. I went to elementary schools. I subbed in high schools. And my heart is with those teenagers. As my kids get older, I am extremely passionate about this.
Fantastic. Any others? Any other?
Council staff topics?
That's all.
That's all. All right. Anybody else? Do we have executive session?
We do, for all three, personnel, pending or threatened litigation, and real estate.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
You good with that?
You good
Yeah, I'm
with
fine with that, for all three reasons.
Yep, for all 3 reasons.
I need a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're in executive.